Gather around, gather around. Well, I'm not sure if you heard the news, but Shams dropped a bomb once again for the 80th time. So Giannis Antetokounmpo says that he's open to a trade. Now, he hasn't demanded a trade. He says he's basically saying that if you can't build a roster around me, then just trade me and rebuild. Very simple. Now, there are plenty of teams, obviously, that want Giannis Antetokounmpo, but it's not that many teams that can get him. You know, they would have to have a lot of draft capital. And, you know, crazy as it sounds, Brooklyn is one of the teams that can get him. Oklahoma City, shockingly, is another team that has the capital to go get him. You know, San Antonio has been pretty much the favorite so far in landing Giannis Antetokounmpo. They also have the draft capital to go get him. I thought about, a Lakers, LeBron trade for Giannis, but I think it's going to have to be a third team because we know LeBron James is not going to Milwaukee. We know that for a fact. I mean, it would be an ideal situation to say goodbye and stuff like that because, shit, if he opts into the contract that he's currently under, $54 million, that's a lot of money. But, the Rockets and the Spurs are interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Rockets have also said that Jalen Green would not be included in a trade involving Kevin Durant and Giannis, so they're not going to trade Green. But obviously, I'd love to see Giannis in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama. They have the young players, they have the draft capital, and they have the assets to get that trade done. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that either Texas team, I think Giannis can immediately help. And Houston also has a lot of draft capital because they have a lot of young assets. You understand? Like, Houston got Jabari Smith, got Cam Whitmore, got Reed Shepherd, got, I think they're probably going to keep him in Thompson. I'd be surprised if they trade him to get Giannis, even though him and Giannis are technically kind of like the same kind of player. But I say Giannis, yeah, because Houston's got a lot of young cats. I mean, they're definitely going to keep Şengün. Maybe Van Vliet is involved in the trade because he's making a lot of money. Because I think he has a club option with the team. The team could opt in to his deal and then use him to get a Giannis or a Kevin Durant. But it seems like, I heard at the end of the season that Milwaukee met up with him and they are trying to discuss possible things they could do to improve the franchise. And obviously things have not gone well for him to be open to be traded. Like I said, my ideal location for him, San Antonio. Can you imagine De'Aaron Fox, Giannis and Wemby? That would be great. And Giannis will be real for going to San Antonio because San Antonio wasn't a playoff contender last year. You know how some people would go to a team like Houston that was like the number 2 seed in the West. You know, that sounds more like a Kevin Durant type of move to me. But I'd love to see Giannis in San Antonio to bring the San Antonio franchise back to respectability. You know, Pop just passed the torch to my man, Mitch Johnson. And then, you know, the task at hand would be to put role players around Giannis, Fox, and Wemby. Because, you know, they have guys like, you know, Devin Vassell. They have, what's his name? Julian Champagnie. Thank you for subscribing, your Reddit Jay. I appreciate that. They have Vassell, they have Harrison Barnes, they have I don't think they would trade Sohan. I'd be surprised, but yeah, he would probably have to be included as well. San Antonio got the young assets, you know, but they have more picks than anything. They can give Milwaukee 5 first-round picks. I'm from Detroit. But yeah. This is very interesting. God bless you too, kid. But yeah, yo, I'm not shocked because you gotta look at Milwaukee's situation. You know, the free agency this year is depending on whether stars opt in to an extra year to their contract, you know, because yeah, I appreciate you for fucking with the content if you indeed do. But man, you got to watch my other videos to find out that information. One of my videos got my age on it. Oh yeah, Milwaukee's got prime decisions to make here. But the problem is it's whack free agency. You know, you got James Harden, who's probably going to opt in. You got Kyrie Irving, who's probably going to opt in his contract. You got LeBron James. I mean, hell, I don't think that Milwaukee's going to bring in LeBron. There's no way in hell. I don't see that happening. But I think LeBron has that option to be like, all right, I want to be a free agent again and see what happens before I hop back into LA. You know, LeBron got complete control of what he does, which is very smart. But I can't do that, buddy. Man. But Milwaukee, as far as, you know, like I said, this whack free agency, and all they could really do is put 3-point shooters and role players around Giannis. The good thing about Milwaukee is Brook Lopez's contract is coming off the books at the end of the season. And I think that is... You're funny. Yeah, Brook Lopez was making $24 million, and this dude was averaging 3 rebounds a game in the playoffs. Shit is crazy to me. How is he 7'4" or 7'3" and averaging 3 rebounds? He's bigger than Giannis, bigger than everybody in Indiana's front court. But man, oh man, oh man, that is crazy, bro. I don't understand that one. I really don't understand. And then, you know, there isn't many disgruntled superstars out there except a Kevin Durant. And Milwaukee would have to, you know, go through hell to get a guy like KD to play with Giannis. No diddy. You know, that would be a completely big dark horse. So it's definitely between Houston and San Antonio. And there's you know, and Brooklyn is like the third dark horse because they have the cap space and the assets to go get Giannis. Oh man, the Spurs will be a man. I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. Like, if the Spurs acquired him, obviously you're giving up Vassell, you're giving up Sohan, you're giving up not G Herbo. That's a good one. That's a good one. Man. I know you were joking. Toronto could be the sneaky team. You're funny. Toronto to get Giannis? That would be crazy. Brandon Ingram, Giannis, Grady. RJ Barrett would probably have to be included in the deal. Hey, if they had a chance to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're trading anybody. We saw Luka get traded. Right. Exactly. I agree with that. Yeah, they would have to give up a lot to get Giannis. I don't know, but that's a complete dark horse. That would be a big surprise if he went there. But yeah, man, my choice would be San Antonio. That would be my pick. Now, Kevin Durant done been on every goddamn team by now. This dude does the same exact thing. But however, I think he'd be a great fit in San Antonio. I mean, hell, I would try to see if we can get Kevin Durant in Milwaukee if I'm Giannis. I would try to see if we can make that happen for him because, you know, say, for example, they sign and trade Lopez. You know what I mean? And multiple guys for KD. I think there would have to be a third team involved for sure if they're going to try to. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but I think Kevin Durant is probably going to end up in Houston. I think Houston needs a guy that's a consistent scorer, and KD gives them what they need as far as that, you know, because Şengün was the only guy in the playoffs that could get them a bucket consistently. Jalen Green's shot was off and on. You know, Green did not play to his potential. And of course, you know, I heard that they weren't going to involve Jalen Green in a trade for Durant or Giannis. So they're going to keep him. You know, so it would have to involve maybe Van Vliet, Brooks, Whitmore, Shepherd, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, guys like that. Yeah. I argue with a homeboy of mine about that, about Jalen Green's inconsistency. Just because, you know, he had a hot couple of months don't mean it's consistent. We need to see, Trae Young to the Rockets. That's not a bad idea. You know, I would do that if they can't get KD or Giannis. That would be the third option they should go. I mean, I like what Van Vliet did for the Rockets, but he's a sixth man, legitimately. You know what I'm saying? But I think Trae Young should go to Orlando, in my opinion. They need guard play really, really bad. What's up? Yeah, man. I think Trae Young will be a better fit for Orlando. That's just me. But yeah, man. I think Houston is the best fit for yeah, for sure. He's a champion. Van Vliet is a champion, but he's making $46 million. He's making $46 million. And you know, the team can decide to opt in and use him for a trade. You know, they're going to need Van Vliet's contract for a trade. Brooks, too. Brooks is a little overpaid as well. So they can make that happen and go get a Giannis or a KD. Just send them motherfuckers a bunch of picks and a bunch of young cats. Yeah, this offseason is going to be really exciting. You know, the draft lottery is tonight. I can't wait until the draft lottery. That's going to be crazy. I think it's at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Yeah, the draft lottery is going to be exciting because then we get to see, like, you know, because I haven't looked at the prospects except Cooper Flag. I haven't looked at the possible draft prospects. I usually look at them at the end of the season. I look at the tapes, I look at the strengths, the weaknesses, and things of that nature of each one of those college players, and then I do my mock drafts and stuff like that. But, you know, the focus right now is the current playoffs. And, you know, of course, the focus of this video is Giannis and KD. You know, those two moves. I mean, Kevin Durant, as crazy as it sounds, still has pressure on him because he still hasn't won without Steph Curry. And that's the monkey that will forever be on his back until he gets that done. You know, a lot of people are going to shit on him for going to the #2 team in the Western Conference. But I felt like the Rockets overachieved despite them having the best group of talent in the world, the best group of young talent. Maybe I got to start saying that because when I say the best group of talent, motherfuckers be ready to say Boston. Okay. The best group of young talent. I think KD and Kawhi are level with their legacy. I don't know about that. I think Kawhi, everywhere he's won except the Clippers. The Clippers just had a lot of bad luck. You know, a lot of injuries to Kawhi, Paul George being Paul George, then James Harden being James Harden. Kevin Durant, in the prime of his career, decided to join Golden State. Oh, I don't know about all that. I don't know about Kawhi being better than Kevin Durant all time. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's honestly a good conversation, to be honest with you. But I still would probably rank KD on the all-time. When Kevin Durant can play defense as well. I'm a grown man. You know what, Young Sigma, you got to sit your ass down. This is about basketball, fucking moron. Get your bitch ass in timeout. This is about basketball. Y'all see that comment, bruh? What a fucking idiot. I don't even give niggas the chance to get off, bro. This nigga's stupid. But anyway, sit your ass in timeout, buddy. Yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, man, I say Houston lands Kevin Durant and San Antonio lands Giannis. But you got to look out for the dark horses, y'all. Y'all got to look out for the dark horses. You know, my man said Toronto. I said Brooklyn. Mavericks, hey, you got to watch out for them too. I see where you coming from. Yeah, Nico Harrison, dog. He's on the Nico Harrison gotta get the fan base back. Yeah, man, Nico Harrison is a lot of pressure. Yeah, but the problem is, Dipset, bro, like they can't stay healthy. You know, it was good that Nico Harrison fired their athletic trainer. And they fired somebody else too that was a part of the organization. I forgot what role they had, but they fired a lot of their training staff. Basically, they fired their training staff, and now that's a step in the right direction because that whole team was hurt last year. You had Luka out of shape. You had Kyrie tears ACL. Derek Lively missed time. Daniel Gafford missed time. I just feel like, you know, health could be their only issue if KD goes to Dallas. You know, they got to stay healthy. Well, Nico Harrison got to do more than just that, y'all. They gotta win the title. I think that's just the bottom line. They're not gonna be satisfied until they win a ring. And even even with that, you know, that fan base loved them some Luka, man. That's like I mean, we'll have to see about that. I think that Nico Harrison has a lot of pressure on him. He's probably got the most pressure of any GM right now. Yeah, true. Right. A beloved star like Luka Doncic. He was everything to that organization. They loved that boy. they I don't know. I mean, they could bring in Kevin Durant. They would have to give up like guys like PJ Washington, and yes, he did. Yes. But yeah, I'm gonna get the fuck up off of here, guys. I'll probably be back a little bit later on tonight. I appreciate y'all for checking out the stream. Peace out. Yeah, I gotta get started.